So
Post-show!
yeah, so post-show.
There you go.
When did it go from... I don't know when it went from being... When Eggman is the highlight of the show to Eggman is now basically the plot for the show and Knuckles is the highlight of the show.
Knuckles became the highlight of the show the more he got screen time and the more he said things that were obviously not just him being an idiot.
I think, to be fair, Eggman has been the highlight too. Like, when he has had his high points, even though Knuckles has kind of taken over a bit. But I would say the show has been Knuckles and Eggman so far. But I will definitely not lie when I say that Knuckles has probably taken over being the highlights of the episodes as of late. With Eggman being right behind them.
So it's Eggman Boom and Knuckles.
Eggman...
Yes.
It's Eggman Boom with the addition of Knuckles as the sassy go-to character for the line of the show.
Yeah. I think it all started with Unlucky Knuckles. Like,
yeah,
that's where I think the transition began.
We waited about 13 episodes for Knuckles to really do anything. So
we waited that long for Knuckles to have some insight, and when he did have insight,
oh boy, did he have it!
Discovered a better character.
Yeah, all of a sudden there was a character, because I don't think there really was before. But yeah, I mean that was an interesting one. Donnie, if I go to you first on your thoughts overall.
I enjoyed this episode. It definitely lived up to the hype. Amy and Knuckles' arguing was the highlight for me. With Eggman and his random moments of like his singing at the beginning, his leisurely stroll was beautiful. Yeah.
Pimp walk.
Yep. Eggman and Knuckles definitely made the episode for me. Knuckles particularly was probably the highlight because just about every time we saw him, he just made me just lose it with laughter. Like in that last line he said after Amy's little line when they start up again after Sonic has been rescued, quote unquote rescued. That was definitely the best part right there with the best line Knuckles has said so far. Runner-up being that line from last week where you're just like, dude, what up?
Yeah.
I loved it. The show was just beautiful.
Kat, anything stand out for you apart from the hedgehog harness?
I'm just gonna sink down.
The birds.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the birds. Alton Towers flashback. It was a mysteriously deep-sounding Sonic, but I don't think this was my highlight of the episode, and I don't think this is the thing I should be mentioning mainly. I'm just saying.
So when you said Alton Towers flashback, what did you mean by that? I didn't quite understand.
Okay, so do you remember, 2010?
What, you mean when I first met you? Yes. Funnily enough, I do.
Do you remember that was at Alton Towers? Do you remember, because it was the opening of the Sonic Spinball ride, I remember there was the Sonic Room, and the Sonic Room had those recordings in it, which were the first appearance of Roger Craig Smith as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Which we didn't know at the time, but yeah, it turned out.
Which you didn't know. But they were mysteriously slowed down.
They were?
They were mysteriously slowed down. They sounded a little slow. They sounded a little deep.
Not on the recordings I have. I don't know what happened. Maybe whoever went in.
And people started making fun of them as a meme. Remember? The check out the consoles thing?
Check out the consoles!
Yeah, but I thought that was mainly just because of the actual line as opposed to sound.
Really? I thought it had something to do with the way the reading sounded.
Because it was all just weird things, and obviously one of them was indeed check out the consoles. Yeah. Welcome to my room.
Hey, welcome to my room.
and such other classics.
You had a pretty great room.
Whoa! Welcome to Sonic Room, only at Alton Towers Resort.
Experience the VIP treatment and the Sonic Room only at Alton Towers Resort.
Hey.
Not Donnie, no.
No, Donnie, no.
That's not... But, okay, I just talked about a thing that you don't remember at all. So there we go.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying hey because it was adventure. That's all those
Also,
quoted lines just...
Also, you were here.
Yeah. and you were here, and you were here, and you were here, and you were here. I just remember just looking all over the place, just looking for the things that I'd written. Which it was always fun. It's just like... I remember one of the staff coming up to me and it was like really enthused about this quiz, and it was like, you gotta find these answers, and I was like, I think you're fine, I wrote them. So he just went, and he kept in that voice, and he was like, are you sure? I was like, pretty damn sure. It was just really weird back and forth as he tried to understand that actually he was talking to one of the Sega guys. Yeah, it was fun, that room. And then it was ruined.
Yeah.
It was ruined by Dreadnoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We apologise to anybody who used that room afterwards.
Yeah, but the first people who slept in it had sex in it, so it was kind of ruined immediately from that point on. And the thing
I'm
is,
sorry, if anybody was like under 12 was listening to this, sorry, we've ruined your life.
If anybody under 12 was listening to this and stayed in that room, don't worry, they just stayed up all night playing games.
Yeah, they played games.
But it was just the worst thing though. The next morning, just seeing Sven come in because everyone just looking, everybody knows, and it was like, so, yeah. So that room, huh? It's like, what was like? Don't tell us. No. Yeah. So, well, yeah. So that was a thing, though. I mean, but why did Sonic just like use birds to attack? And like, well, wasn't one of them a baby? How did he know that the baby wasn't going to die?
One of them was they were very pretty birds, and then Sonic just launches them at the face. We don't know.
One of them was the bird that was the songbird from last episode that Amy told to go away, basically, when she wanted to sing. So now we've got a new recurring character, which is male bird. Who voiced the male bird? Let's say it was Bill.
Bill voices everyone.
Bill voices the best characters. And
yeah.
It's like, does the bird have a name? No, it's a bird. Everybody. The Buddy Beavers.
For all you know, they may have a voice too.
Bosom Buddy Amigos.
Bosom Buddy Amigos.
Okay, that was definitely a highlight. That entire concept.
I mean, there was a few bits for me. Actually, there was one thing right at the beginning, which I noticed in like the second sort of playthrough. The last when Eggman's singing his Jungle Laser song, which incidentally was fantastic. We're just going to get a CD just of Mike Pollock sings random bits from Sonic Boom. Somebody at the end of the series, somebody's going to sort of mix them all together to make an actual like proper song or a remix or something. With our community, is somebody will.
MC Egg bringing you the latest and greatest.
MC Egg. Oh god. It's a mic on the mic. Right. But there was when Eggman was doing that, he was still he was like firing the laser, and as he finished, his hands were still in the air, and then he fired another laser blast. But how is what I want to know, because he's got triggers on the steering controls of the Eggmobile. We've seen that before. I think so. It's like if he's not doing it with his hands, what's he? What did he use to fire the laser that time?
Magic?
I sincerely hope so. I don't want it to be another get a load of this situation, frankly.
Yeah, Kevin, don't read into it like that.
No, but
don't.
But it was because there was no he's very specifically stopped firing when he like put his hands in the air. But before it cut away, he then fired again. But it was a bit of a weird one. Like I say, that whole sequence going through the tunnel was wonderful. To have it go from, you know, it was evasive. There was great action. There was great animation. Eggman got to show off a bit in terms of his, in terms of what he can do with the Eggmobile. I thought it was nice to sort of to show that off. The sort of spin away barrel roll, if you like, move, was quite. You know, it was quite something. It was nice, and it changed the pitch and the flow. And then you know, I had to go back and pause the after the barrel roll, where Eggman gets underneath the door. I actually had to go back and pause that because it was just so close on the animation. Eggman actively ducks his head to get underneath it. It was some really nice animation stuff going on there. So I mean that stood out for me. I don't know what Sonic was doing in terms of this ankle that he sprained, which then made a broken noise, and then was perfectly fine in the next scene.
Yeah, that is slightly questionable.
Yeah, it was just like the whole thing with that. I was like, to use wrestling analogy, which. Certainly one of Greg Han will appreciate this. Sonic didn't sell the injury enough for me. In fact, the person who did the most selling was Eggman when he was putting it on, when he was actually pretending to have an injury. Eggman did pretend injury better than Sonic did actual injury. So unless we're saying that Sonic's got like Wolverine style healing abilities, I thought that was a bit off. Again, Sonic should have burnt to death on the lava because of the way the timings went, the way that, which is just I'm being very nitpicky this episode, but there was just like
some people just want to watch the hedgehog burn.
Yeah,
I'm gonna draw Sonic on fire now.
Master Wayne. I once found a red star ring, the size of my fist. A child was playing with it. Eggman had been throwing it away. That's a really bad impression indeed. In fact, I'm not even doing it properly, but there we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. The hedgehog harness, I'm assuming that's the same harness that we had in the last episode. One of the other things that I liked in terms of the shots, when Sonic was laying on his back, like the flattened spines, or where they were like splayed out with him laying on his back, that was a really nice sort of design animation setup. But the other thing was just the death of the Eggman and Mike Pollock's line reading on that.
Good grief, sir! Why?
Good grief!
Why?
Again, there was the tone thing. I didn't think that one, because when Mike was on, if you guys remember this, Mike said about how when like it was like the asides, it was his voice. Yeah, but that wasn't, you know, that it wasn't Eggman's voice and it wasn't Mike's voice. It was something else because of the there was some real hurt layered onto that.
Are you saying Eggman can't sound hurt?
Well, no, Eggman can sound hurt and upset, but it just the tone of the voice on it was just so unusual. But I mean, it worked perfectly. But at the same time, it was just like it just sounded so strange coming out of Eggman's mouth. Anyway, that's my nitpicks / comments and praises for the episode for those who cared, which is probably none of you, but there we go. That's my side.
Eggman confirmed Two-Face.
Oh god, don't do that. Okay, so there was a question I was going to bring up, which was on the Boom Commentaries, SonicBoomCommentaries.com comments for the Sleeping Giant episode, where Win also comments the same comment as earlier that was on the YouTube video. But Yellow Star says, how comfortable are you guys with the Boom designs now? I've seen so much of Boom Sonic that the modern Sonic looks kind of weird.
I love both designs equally. I mean, and I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that the Boom designs have really been their own thing, and they haven't taken over. But as their own, they're just fine. Advantages, but yeah.
I'm settled, but I cannot go back to a regular looking Knuckles. Just because I like big bulky Knuckles.
So, big bulky Knuckles has grown on you. Is that from like just from a viewer perspective, or the perspective of you as an artist, or because Cat's an artist for everybody.
I'm supposedly an artist.
She is,
but it may just be personal. I don't know.
So I mean, you'd be okay with like drawing a quote modern era Sonic. We need to figure out a new name for that Sonic, incidentally. We can't call that modern anymore, because modern is now past. So we can't really call it that anymore. I mean, that whole era needs to have a name.
The Boost era?
You know what? It might end up being that. I don't
Even though Rush and Rush Adventure had boosting.
Because that era though of
Rush and Rush Adventure used the modern Sonic design and 3D
yeah,
models.
but that was. I mean, you had the adventure era, and you had like the classic era, and then you had the adventure era. But then there's like the other era, which is just quote modern, and it needs to have something. I think Boost era might actually be a good one, but that idea of that style of Sonic should really have its own name, and it can't be modern anymore.
Boom era.
Because we've got Boom era Sonic now. I mean, that's clear. I mean, we've seen the Sonic design, like the classic Sonic design, or rather the previous iteration of Sonic is still about, but at the same time, that's going through a bit of a repositioning as well, with it being like a halfway house between classic and the quote unquote modern era. Suggestions, people in the comments, suggestions for what you would call the post-classic era Sonic. If you had to give a definition to that Sonic, what would you call that? Assuming that, so like first decade or first 7-8 years Sonic was classic Sonic, and then you had 98 till 2014, say, as this other era of Sonic.
Yep.
Answers on a postcard, the postcard being the comments. But so you can even split it up by having adventure era, but then what is that other era? Yeah, well,
the evil ham era.
Evil ham era. It's a genuine thing that the community hasn't addressed yet, because they're still referring it as to like modern era Sonic, and it's just like, well, if we're still saying it's the modern era, why is this a thing that we're concentrating on from the past? Just a question. Yeah.
Well, we can always use the term generic Sonic.
Generic Sonic. Who did the redesign?
What?
Who is it who did the redesign of Sonic? What's the name of the artist? I've met the guy as well. That feels really bad. I can't remember his name.
The guy who did the Sonic Adventure redesign of Sonic.
Yeah.
Uekawa?
Is that right? Quick, look it up. Because if so, we could call that classic era Sonic, and the other one that his name Sonic, maybe.
Wow, I get the point.
Yeah, Uekawa. Yuji Uekawa.
Okay, so Uekawa Sonic, then
Uekawa Sonic.
potentially. But yeah, still sending you a question. Was there anything else you guys wanted to bring up or mention or what have you? I'm just going to refresh the Sonic Show page in case somebody's put another question or something.
There really isn't all that. I think we haven't already established there was no doubt that people were excited about this episode, and it was one of the episodes that I believe had been teased beforehand, before Boom had premiered, and it was interesting to finally see this and see the episode, and always interesting to see episodes you had previously heard about and finally get to see them in action and all, and it was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Definitely another one of my favorites. I'm curious about how next week's episode will go, considering it's another Orbot and Cubot episode.
Good. I want another Orbot and Cubot episode. What is the name of the episode? Do we know?
Yep, it is called Let's Play Musical Friends. And what it is called Orbot and Cubot must defeat a living computer virus in the cyber world.
And then they accidentally just bump into Nicole.
And then,
Yeah.
and then my joy of the series just becomes tenfold. Because Nicole. Best developed character in the comics, everybody. Mainly
He loves the Nicoles.
I do love the Nicoles, but like I say, best developed character in the comics, mainly because they've not had to completely frickin' write her backstory so much. But
Well, they have actually totally rewritten her backstory, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, it's, I own the original comic art of when she appeared as a Lynx. I actually own that. I got that off Tracy Yardley.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the episode that will be premiering next week. The week after that will also be interesting because that may be our first. I'm not sure if it would be our first, but it might be our first Amy-focused episode.
But we had a Amy-focused episode though.
It wasn't necessarily her though. It was more so Eggman.
It was Amy Eggman tandem. I mean, the story was about Amy, I guess. But so what's that one and what happens in that? Do we have
Late Fees is the one that's going to be airing a couple weeks from now.
the library book one, is it? Or...
Yeah, where Amy has to get has a late book and that's late, and she and Sonic end up going to the library or something like that. So.
Antics occur.
This ties in actually with a very late incoming question from John Paul Guerra on the Sonic Show Facebook page, facebook.com/The Sonic Show. What episode do you think should happen after the Late Fees episode, aside from the ones found on the France website?
Are they asking us to decide the show schedule?
Well...
I'd like.
What would you like to see in terms of an episode idea for everybody?
I'd love to see an episode involving Knuckles and Eggman, because we haven't really seen that dynamic all that much. I mean, we've seen Sonic and Tails, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic and Amy, Sonic and Sticks. We've seen just about all the interactions we can except one, Knuckles and Eggman.
We had a tease of it. Was it last episode? What was the last episode? Whichever one was the
Sleeping Giant
Oh
one.
no, so it was the one prior to that. So it had been episode
Hedgehog
20,
Day.
Hedgehog Day. We had a tease of Eggman and Knuckles together, which was just hilarity.
Yeah.
So that would be great because the only two. interactions that Eggman's had with Knuckles so far are really just
Small and
small. There was Eggman sort of backing into Knuckles, and it was like, oh my god, Knuckles was going to punch my head off in one episode, and then there was the one with, like I say, in 2 episodes ago.
yeah, we really haven't gotten some good, decent Knuckles and Eggman interacting yet, and considering there's still a little over half of the season to go.
Oh yeah, we're not halfway yet.
Yeah, we'll be halfway. We'll be halfway done with the season in mid-May, if my calculations are right. Because we had episode 22 this week. 23, 24, 25. Yep, on May 16th would be the halfway point of the season. So, needless to say, to be fair though, France has already passed. They've already passed the halfway point, but for us, it will be the halfway point as of May 16th. But I definitely wouldn't be surprised if there was a Knuckles and Eggman episode coming up.
Yeah. Kat, was there be one that you'd like to see something happen in the show?
I can't think of anything at this time.
Okay. I'd like to stick with my one from previously in the recording of Amy getting everyone together to make a charity record for the Fuzzy Penguins.
We're so determined for this musical episode.
Well, it didn't even have to be a musical episode. I just love the idea of what you could
We're
do.
so determined for this episode featuring music.
If you think of what could be done within that space of time, in terms of even just like small, montage of things with trying to get things going, you could have the fact that Styx wants to go on to the record, but Amy doesn't want Styx on there because she knows how bad Styx sings. You could have that. You could have Eggman. One of them has like a hidden talent where they're like super awesome singer, and it could be somebody weird like Cubot is actually like this fantastic opera, opera singer or something.
No, wait, that's why Knuckles was going to the opera.
Yeah, he was going to see Cubot in concerts. It was
no, Knuckles is the opera singer.
That's
why he was referring to somebody else's opera tickets.
Knuckles is also the opera house.
Maybe it turns out that Sonic is actually maybe it turns out that Sonic ends up being the one that can sing after all, and he's just shy.
Oh well, he has a lovely singing voice, according to Tails.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we need evidence. Yeah. We still need evidence. Give me evidence.
So you've got so you've got a situation where Amy's trying to get everybody to do this record, but the mayor insists all the celebrities of the island have to be involved in it, which includes Eggman. So you've got Eggman maybe like taking it seriously and like thinking this is chance to shine, and Eggman thinks he's going to steal the show, and in terms of being the lead singer. You have Styx who wants to be on the record, but Amy doesn't want her to be because of the singing. You've got
you'll not taint this record.
You've got Sonic who's reluctant to sing, but Tails is trying to convince that, hey, no, I've heard you sing, you're fantastic. And then Sonic gets really panicky that Tails has heard him sing, and gets really because he
worried. Only sings in the shower.
He gets like really worried about it, that like somebody's heard him, and then gets really self-conscious about it. And then you've got Knuckles who just like doesn't understand that there's even a record going on. I think that actually you've got
Knuckles just existing in the world. You've got for him it's the musical episode.
And you've got Amy in the middle trying to organise everything. I just think that'd be really good, because then all the characters have got something to do. It's all different. There's stuff going on. There's also quick gags. And like the centre of it all is just Amy just slowly melting down under the pressure of trying to get this.
Welcome to our fanfiction plotting hour, everybody.
Yeah, hey, why not?
Yeah,
Why the hell not? Coming soon to episode 2. When I'm hired to write it.
Coming soon to episode 2. We will read your fanfiction. We will read it live.
Coming soon. It's a live reading of the non-episode that's take place. Is it like 52 episodes in the series? I think so. There's 52. That's episode 53. Everybody, there we Which also potentially solves as the series ending in the event.
And then we just get Styx's origins in the end.
Styx's oranges.
Styx's origin is in fact an orange.
An orange. Her oranges.
What about people go looking for Styx's origins, but they keep getting Styx's oranges or Styx's origami? Or a bunch of bad origin punch.
And she keeps serving orange juice, but it has lots of sticks in it. Just lots of jungle dirt. She teams up with Orbot to make orange juice. There's another one. All these ideas are not coming next season, and probably all for the best.
Jeez.
Any other episode ideas before we call time on this show? I'm now utterly convinced that would be a really good episode.
This is all my fault.
It's the Fuzzy Penguins. If the Fuzzy Penguins weren't in trouble, then this wouldn't be needed at all.
The Fuzzy Penguins must be really good with oranges. You never know. I mean, maybe we'll hear their origins or I give up.
They're beginning.
Yeah, they're beginning.
Amy gets a visit from two penguins that she helped, and they slowly start to take over her house. And then her life, and then they steal her identity.
Oh jeez!
They copy all her credit cards.
Oh.
And they're just going around to stay in. There's just two of them one on the shoulders of the other one, just dressed as Amy.
They sell. They sell her garden.
Mm-hmm.
Grammar gets auctioned off.
Yeah, another one. Knuckles finds Knuckles finds online there's a forum of people that don't like him very much, and he's like really hurt and confused and doesn't understand why.
They wonder why they make fun of how
and then
big
it turns out the moderator's Sonic.
Oh boy.
God. Right. So we've got that next week. Hopefully we'll grab some other people for that, I think.
Maybe we'll have an actual Sonic show commentary. You never know.
You never know. I mean, we didn't have Tanner this week because it's Tanner's celebrating his birthday today, so it was like the birthday buddy show.
It's the birthday weekend.
It's the birthday. It's the Muppet show. No,
but mine already passed. So
already passed.
It's a long weekend.
It's a long weekend.
Where Friday is included.
It's a national holiday. It's Donny Day.
Donny's a national holiday.
Yeah, there's
You're a national holiday, Donny.
There's 3 days of international celebration for Donny's birthday. So please leave your comments and your presents.
Apparently it was Rouge Appreciation
Leave your offerings
Day.
to the Donny Lord.
Yes. Place your offerings at the altar of the great bearded one on your way out. Until that time.
Yeah, apparently it was Rouge Appreciation Day on my birthday.
The same day, yeah, it was Rouge Appreciation. Oh, that was one of the things. That was one of the things before we go, because I find it really funny that it is a great. I don't know who does the community now since they're getting rid of all the community managers and they've got all these channels. Don't know who's actually doing them.
Apparently people like Kelly are still working for another couple of months or so.
Well, that was a couple of months ago, but that was a couple of months ago.
No, she just said that. She said on Twitter not too long ago.
Well, so they've like kept her on for another couple of months. It's probably because they don't know what the hell they're going to do. But they did specifically say a celebration of the stealthiest one of all, and my response to that was, "Oh, what about SBO? Because isn't he like a ninja who turns invisible?"
Yeah, Rouge isn't
like
really
his
stealthy.
Thing?
Not only is Rouge not stealthy, but every time we see her try to be stealthy, she kind of gets caught.
Yeah, every time she's being
Kinda
stealthy,
sad.
she then like interrupts a conversation and reveals herself. That's not really being stealthy. That's just like having a dramatic entrance. That's two different things.
Yeah,
Most
not really
dramatic
stealthy.
entry of all.
Yeah. Anyway, tune in next week where it will be I don't know,
Some
misspelt polar bear day or something, and then we'll
Bark?
be able to talk about Bark.
we'll probably get something about some binary coding considering the episode next week, but you know.
Very true. Let's get on this because it's so great. Because it means we've got to, like, that. You know what that means? We're going to have to like pause all the way through it and just check the binary numbers that flash across the screen in case there's hidden messages.
You know I will.
There will be, of course, there will be.
What?
I said I will.
Oh, you will. Okay, awesome.
And we'll probably end up having to just talk the entire show with just zeros and ones, so it's like
0 0 1 1 0
1
0 1
0
1.
1 0 1.
Yeah, 0 0 1 1 1 0
1
1 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 1 1 1
I can tell you that doesn't translate to anything because he's not actually sequencing it properly.
0 0 1 1.
See? Totally incorrect.
0.
You just
That
said
me-
a fragment of a letter.
That means no. Also, last thing for the comments, and then we will leave you. I swear. If anybody spotted the film reference, I'm assuming there was like some kind of Indiana Jones thing in there. But I didn't actually see if there was a classic movie film reference in there this week. So if anybody spots one, again, leave it in the comments. But until that time, thank you very much for listening in to us, either on the podcast or on the post-show video on LMC. If you're on there, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on the sonicboomcommentaries.com site, please leave a comment on there. We do read them. And we'll talk about it in the post-show for next week. But from myself, from Donnie, and from Katz, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.